Welcome in, everyone. It's another edition of the Dudley Hilton Show. I'm your host, and we're joined by Coach Dudley Hilton, three-time Kentucky State High School champion, two at Bell County, one at Bourbon, retired as the winningest high school football coach in the Commonwealth with 345 wins, and then he moves on to the University of Pikeville. We're in the third season of the Dudley Hilton era, and Coach, welcome in once again.
Thank you, Andrew.
25th in the nation last week, heading to Lindsey Wilson, taking on a team that was ranked 24th in the country, and you make the road trip to Columbia. Never an easy place to play. Anytime you go on the road in the Mid-South Conference, not an easy task. And your team, a little bit of a slow start against Lindsey, and that was the downfall.
Yeah, I don't know why we started so slow. You know, as my first trip into Lindsey, and a beautiful place. I tell you, a heck of a place to play football, and great facilities there they got at Lindsey. But we just started off slow. We took you know, they got the ball first, and we stopped them, and we got it and came down, settled for a field goal, and so we go up 3-0, and then we come back and we stopped them on a few plays, and then had a big third down play they made, and kind of got a little momentum going for them, and put them up 7-3. And then we came out and was moving the ball pretty good again. Then we fumbled, and I think that caused us to get ourselves down. They end up scoring an easy touchdown. We get held again. They scored another easy touchdown, and you know, we go into halftime, we're down 28-3. Could easily, you know, I don't take their touchdowns away from them, but we could have, you know, we had the ball about 5 or 6 times the first half, and got one field goal out of it. And so we felt like we should have scored at least a couple touchdowns and be within a couple touchdowns. But here we are down 28-3, down 25 points at halftime. But sure was proud of them way we regrouped at halftime anyway.
Coach Dudley Hilton, your team was 3-0 going in, now 3-1 after the loss. What has been the mood around practice after that?
Well, it's, you know, we're all disappointed. We worked hard to get where we're at. We felt like we beat a good higher division team in Moorhead, and went there to play and did a great job. And then Bluefield, and then went down to Edward Waters down in Florida, and kind of got behind, had to fight our tails off to come back to win that game, but we did. And then we had a good opportunity, you know, to move up in this poll, probably as high as we've ever been. And you know, I felt like we was ready to play, but we didn't, and we're pretty disappointed, Andrew. To be honest with you, you know, it's a sad world around here when you lose, but
sure.
But you know, that's good, because expectation of people and our university and things are high, and you know, but you know, it's we've worked hard. We've practiced 2 good mornings this week, and we had you know, we got a short turnaround, and we got to quit licking our wounds. We got to get ready for a number 3 team in the country coming in here and playing. And they've been off 15 days, and we've been off 4. So I mean, we've had 4 days turnaround. But the Moves know that we're up against another good football team, that we got to get ready. We can't feel sorry for ourselves.
Well, do you expect to be different from this edition of a Dudley Hilton team as opposed to, say, your first year here at Pikeville, the way they would respond to a loss?
Well, you know, I think we're a little bit more mature now, and I said that at the beginning. I hope we'd handle it a little bit better than we've had in the past, and I hope we do something about it. I feel like we have. I feel like, you know, again, I brag on my 2 coordinators, Al Holland and Brian Williams. They're both, they don't like to lose, and they went right back to work. They even worked on the bus coming back from Lindsey Wilson. So, you know, I think we're a little bit better prepared now. We're not just accepting it. We're trying to do something about it, and I think it carries over to our players, that we don't that they don't like to taste this old agony defeat either. You know, they want to win.
Absolutely. Keep the Bears hungry and humble, and that will certainly do that. The Bears now 3-1, coming off the loss to Lindsey Wilson 35-26 on this edition of the Dudley Hilton Show. We'll step into the Bears' den. On the defensive side, John Dudley Hilton, our guest, Shantez Johnson from the offensive side, and we'll also talk with a member of the coaching staff. And when we come back, we'll take a look at highlights. Still to come, we'll get a preview of the University of Cumberland's Thursday. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, and Coach Dudley Hilton. We take a look at last week's action. The Bears go on the road in Mid-South Conference play to Lindsey Wilson College and Columbia. Tough anytime you go on the road in the Mid-South, but the Bears dig an early hole, and the rally comes up short. Within 2 late in the game, Lindsey takes a 35-26 win. Coach, there were lots of highlights. How do you explain the team coming out so ready out of the halftime locker room in spite of the slow start at the start of the game?
Well, I think we really got it rubbed in our face, and we knew, we was all at fault a little bit. It just wasn't one side of the ball or the this and that. We was all at fault. We missed some opportunities offensively. We give up easily touchdowns defensively, and we felt like we all was part of it. And I think that's why we come out the second half and we got the open kickoff when we drove it down the field like we was on a mission and came back and played defense like we should played all day long. But but the biggest thing, we got to learn how to finish. We had some good drives in the first half. We didn't finish. We had some good defensive series that we didn't finish. And the same way at the end of the ball game, when we had a chance to tie it up and we didn't, we called up on their defense and we didn't finish it off. We should have stopped them, and I feel like if we'd have stopped them, I feel like our offense would have went down, and we either kick a field goal to win or scored a touchdown. But we didn't finish, and I don't think we finished either side. And we've got to learn how to finish. We can't be satisfied because we score a touchdown or be satisfied because we stopped the team. We've got to do it. If we're going to some place like Lindsey Wilson win, we got to do it all day long and not pick out when we want to. But we fought hard the second half other than not finishing the game, Andrew.
I know you're never satisfied with a loss, always want that win, but if you can take a positive from this game, I think something we see here that we haven't seen maybe a couple of years ago is a team that showed some fire coming out of the halftime locker room when being behind, because there have been times when we've seen a team just simply show up for the second half because they had to come out of the locker room.
Yeah, I believe Lindsey Wilson, they'd have tasted a little bit more blood. They'd have beat us 70 if they wanted to, and a couple of years ago they might have. Sure. But again, you're right about that. I think we showed a little maturity and a little guts about us, and we just got to find a way to get started. And we've been a little slow starting. We got to get out of the gates and not let people jump on us or this and that. And but you're right, Andrew. It could have easily been a couple years ago. We could end up getting beat 70-14 or 21 or something like that. So, but I appreciate you saying that.
Program's growing up, step by step. Right now, let's put Lindsey to bed, and to do that, let's take a look at the highlights. We'll get things started early in the first quarter. We'll start on the defensive side.
There's a big sack, and that's early in the game. You could tell that's Crutcher and Davis make a big sack right there. Here comes your boy right here, Taylor Woods. Yeah, he comes around the back and just really calls that boy and Jade Haddix intercepts that ball, and a heck of a play for him. See how excited we are, and that should have really got us going, and it did for a little while. We drove down here's AJ, can scramble. You can see right there, you can get away from people. He worked hard for us all day. Do a bullet right there. I guess that looks like Zachary. And make a big catch, man. Got in a hole there and hit it. And here's a big pass out to New Keys. Good block there by Jordan. And you can see right there, a good play. And we drive it right down there. And I think, I don't know if this is one we had to settle for a field goal. Now, here's a field goal. And, we're right down on the 10-yard line and have a chance. I think we get a offsides or something, costs us out a little bit. But we come back. And, here we are playing defense again. That was Ross, I think, made that tackle, didn't he?
Ross stepped up and made the tackle for no gain. The Bears with the lead at this point.
Here's AJ again. AJ Graham, he knows what to do with the ball. He can big old long strides and run out there. And he's a joy to watch.
Can make an offensive line's job easier while protection breaks down. He can create more time.
And here's a big play out of another heck of athlete. Look at him jumping over and getting the extra 10 yards. I think Keith Richardson just had a big game all the way around.
probably haven't seen the best out of that combination yet either.
Here's a boy you're going to have on the show here in a few minutes, Shantez. He just consistent, just makes those catches, and there's another good pass. I think that's either to I guess that was New Keys again, maybe. Sure was, yeah.
It was. Graham had a big day.
Oh yeah, threw the ball well, threw the ball right in, you know, good, right in the bread baskets, I call it, and just you know, just time after time.
Once again.
Good fake, and there's another Shante Zachary. I'm proud of old Shante. He's done a good job. I think that was Shantez catching that one. Here's a good run by Seth. Seth kind of got beat up. Seth's been a workhorse all year long. You know, he's done a good job. He's down on the goal line. Seth takes it in. See all the offensive linemen, they all score, and that's what you got to have. We got to have our offensive linemen, you know, driving them in the end zone.
Defensively, pressure coming here.
That's a big play stop right there for us. Chris Ross made a heck of a play right there.
Strong young man.
Here comes your boy again outside. You can feel that speed and that determination. So that's Taylor Woods just made a heck of a play there. Here's one of the biggest plays in the game. Really got us momentum in the second half. And this second half, big catch. AJ scrambles around. And he hits the Griffin boy on a long catch. He just really made a heck of a catch for us right there. You can't see the catch, but just a big time play for us right there. Kind of sparked us up a little bit. There's Seth Miller again, good run, got his shoulders upfield. His little step's not as long as AJ, but they go upfield anyway.
Absolutely, he knows what north and south is.
And here's the Eastern Kentucky boy, Rankin, drives in there, scores one of his 2 touchdowns on the day. And here, you know, a big play right here by our defense come up here. I think John Dudley maybe gets his hands on that ball, and Jake catches the interception, and you know, we get good field position right there. Really set up a score, and I think we get a field goal out of it, and really helped us. Big Slusher, Brent Slusher catching one about 10 yards, putting it down on about the 15-yard line. And you know, again, well, here we are down there ready to score again. Has to settle for a field goal, you know, and you know, we got to finish that thing. But at least we got points out of it. And the Wilson boy kicked that. There's a big interception by your D lineman. That's a big boy you had on the show a few weeks ago.
You got it.
Scott Acamento did a great job. Ran like a fullback.
Knows what to do with it. It looked a little like Rankin heading upfield.
Yeah. Here comes Mr. Consistent. Shantez, you'll have him on the show here in a minute, talk to him. And, he just always find that open and make those hard catches. And Shantez made a good catch right there. There's Seth Miller making a good run.
Got a block out on the corner, Jeremy Hill.
He's kind of beat up a little bit. Hopefully he'll come back by Thursday night. Here AJ looking around. Johnson boy again. You know, let's try to score. Watch this. I don't know if this is an effort right here. He really tries hard to score right here. He goes over the top. Just comes up short. And, fumbles, but it goes out of bounds. But you can tell that he knew what end zone he wanted it. And,
absolutely.
And here comes Rankin back to get his second touchdown right there. I forget how many catches Shantez caught that day, but he caught about 10 or 12. And just, he knows where to get in the area, you know, with New Keys and Amos out there. And, can't double and triple team him like he used to, you know.
That's it. Solid receivers.
Yeah. And here he comes one more time. You can see AJ just buys him some time. Shantez come back, get the ball. And, you know, there he gets, you know, about 10 or 12 yards off of a play that should have been stopped for nothing.
Sure.
And like the last one here is a Zachary kid catches a pass. But again, a lot of big plays, a lot of, we make plays, but we just got to be able to finish a game or finish a drive or finish a defense. And right now, you know, that's where we're struggling a little bit. We're just not, we're not finishing. We look good at times, but we gotta go ahead and finish a play and a series out on both sides of the thing. Once we do that, we're really growed up in,
A lot of highlights, a lot of great offensive plays. I think 2-1 in first downs over Lindsey Wilson, and had more total offensive yards than Lindsey Wilson. So obviously got to get 6s instead of 3s.
Again, the stats there defensively gave up too much stats the first half. It was unreal.
Sure.
We come out the second half, it was unbelievable. If they'd have played like that 2 halves, we'd have set all kinds of records here. But again, in the same way, offensively, we we drove the ball up and down the field all night long, but we got to be able to finish them, and that's what we, if they'd went on and finished every drive and like it should, we might have been the 60 and they might have been the 6, but again, we just got to keep on making the plays and keep our nose at the grind, Andrew.
Have to ask the question, 3-0 going into that one, nationally ranked in the top 25. It's hard to imagine that anyone would overlook another team in the top 25, but was it possible that maybe your team overlooked Lindsey a little?
I don't think so. I don't know. Again, I can't put a finger on it why we didn't go out there ready to play. We had a good pregame. We had a good night before. We went downstate all night. It wasn't that we run around all night long and had our mind not on the game. We just got to find a way to get them fired up a little bit more and get out there and play. The atmosphere was great. We took a good crowd, and we kind of apologize because we didn't start out well. But again, we'll just keep working at it and hope the next time that we'll get out of the gate. Sometimes, Andrew, you learn by losing, and
Sure.
we was 3-0, and maybe we didn't. Maybe we was doing some things we shouldn't have been done when we're doing those 3-0. But the bottom line, we'll get the secret of it. Like I said, I got 2 great coordinators, and I know Coach Holland. He's we're never happy, and I know Coach Williams. A short time knowing him, I know he's not happy either. So they're both going to work at it and keep grinding, and who knows, we'll get on that other end.
Humble and hungry, and a chance to bounce back Thursday night. Short turnaround. We'll talk about that in just a bit. When we come back, we'll talk to a member of the Bears coaching staff, Matt Nardo, one of the newcomers to the staff. A little later, we'll talk with John Dudley Hilton from the Bears Den and Shantez Johnson on this edition of the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Andrew Joyce, and we'll talk with a member of the Bears coaching staff. Coming off a 35-26 loss to Lindsey Wilson College, and of course we look forward now to the University of Cumberland. It's currently ranked number 4 in the nation Thursday night at the Hamley Complex. A little later, we'll get a preview of that game with Dudley Hilton. Also, we'll step into the Bears Den and meet a couple of the Bears players. Right now, joined by assistant coach, defensive back coach, Matt Nardo on the Dudley Hilton Show. Welcome in.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
One of the newest members of the UPike coaching family. And first, let's introduce Matt Nardo to those that are tuned in. Where did you come from? Let's talk about some of your coaching background.
I'm a native of Shadyside, Ohio. Started coaching at the Division III level in Ohio at Muskingum College. Spent 3 years there. From there, transitioned down to Florida. Spent a couple years down there at a Catholic high school just north of Tampa as a defensive coordinator, and then my final year as a head coach. Before coming back to the college game, I spent the last 2 years coaching the wide receivers at Marietta College, also a Division III school in the same league, and fortunate enough to have the opportunity to come down here now at a scholarship level and join the Bears.
Matt Nardo, let's talk about your playing days. A lot of those folks that are tuned in, they want to hear coaches stepping back in time and talking about their days playing. Let's talk about your football background before coaching.
I'm a graduate of St. John Central High School in Blair, Ohio, and that's where my playing started, and I was proud to wear the green and white. I was actually a member of the only team in school history to make the state playoffs in the state of Ohio. There's been some schools or some teams with better records than what we had, a couple 10-0 teams, but I was very fortunate to be one of few juniors that saw a significant time on that group. Very proud of that, and the guys that I played with were all still very proud of that. Unfortunately, as a Division VI high school player in the state of Ohio, that doesn't necessarily transition into being a scholarship player. So I went down to Ohio University and was very fortunate to spend some time working with the football staff down there. Spent 4 years as a student assistant, where I like to think that I learned more about coaching from those those guys I spent with in those time period.
When did coaching get in Matt Nardo's blood?
Oh, coaching's been in me since I was little. My dad was always my coach growing up.
Right.
About when I got into 8th grade, he started coaching football, and he's been with it ever since. So coaching was really never an option. It was part of who I am. I have a younger brother who's a coach at Emporia State, Division II school in Kansas.
Right.
My dad's still coaching high school ball, and it's always going to be what I do.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else.
You notice I phrased the question in your blood, because it seems that coaching, regardless of the level, it is in the blood, and it's something that you can't just walk away from many times. Matt Nardo, let's talk about how you arrived at the University of Pikeville. How did Matt Nardo go from these various places, Florida, then Marietta, and land at UPike? What made that connection?
Well, you're always looking to try to improve yourself and where you're at, and fortunate with all the ways out there to find places. Pikeville's a school that I've heard about in the past, and when I saw the opportunity to come down here, immediately sent my resume in, and I was very fortunate that Coach Hilton gave me a shot. Later I find out that Coach Williams and I actually have a small tie. He worked with my former head coach at Marietta College back at their days at Cincinnati. So there were some ties between myself and the staff, but wasn't something I found out until I got down here and got to know Coach Williams.
Coach Dudley Hilton, a legend in Kentucky high school football coaching. What did you know about Dudley Hilton before you arrived?
I didn't really, being from Ohio, just far enough north to where, Kentucky isn't really considered border state where I'm from. I'm right around West Virginia and Pennsylvania. But as I've gotten down here, the more you hear and the more you find out, it's impressive what the guy's done. And I'm very fortunate to be able to sit here working for a guy who's spent his entire career of 30-plus years molding and shaping young student athletes, and I think that's why we coach.
Absolutely.
And to learn from a guy who's truly a legend and has the amount of lives that he's changed, there's experience there that I couldn't get anywhere else.
It's amazing to walk into Dudley Hilton's office and see the team pictures from all the years and all the teams that he's coached, and he can tell you a story about many of those young men's faces that appear on those pictures. Matt Nardo, defensive backs coach, you work with defensive coordinator Brian Williams. How's that experience been?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I've been very fortunate in my career that I've worked with some great coaches, and Brian is no different. The things he does defensively are some of the things that I haven't seen before. This is my first experience with a 3-4 defense, and the different concepts and the different things that he does are, a lot of times you sit there and say, that's good stuff. And very fortunate we're on the same page with a lot of things on the back end as far as coverages goes, so it's easy to work with. And I'm one of those guys that I listen and learn, and I'm learning a lot from him.
Let's talk about the defensive backs. You've got a talented group. Let's talk about those guys.
I'll start with my seniors. I have 4 seniors with the group that bring a lot of leadership and a lot of experience. When you look at Josh Salmons, our starting free safety, he's a guy he just does right. He's in the right position. He's doing the right things, and we'd be a lot different defense if we didn't have that consistency from him. On the outside, we have 2 corners that see significant time in McKee O'Brien and Dimitri Travis. Dimitri, one of the few guys that has a lot of experience with us. And there's a level of consistency that I'll go back with seniors. Also Michael Gillespie, another senior that plays a role with ourselves in the safety on the backside. Then I have a couple young kids that I'm really excited about. I have a junior in Dontavius Daniel who's played some time for us, but's really a fresh face starting for us. And then 2 redshirt freshmen that see a lot of time. And with redshirt freshmen, you're going to see some bumps in the road, but they come to work every day, the whole group really striving to get better and working hard. And those 2 freshmen, Dario Bennett and Demetrius Taylor, those 2 guys, they're little spark plugs. They come to work, and they're going to make some mistakes along the way, but it's not an effort. It's just in learning how to play the game.
Sometimes with seniors, what's gained in experience with freshmen, you gain that in energy, but you've got to be willing to accept those mistakes as well. But the future looks bright. Let's talk about depth in the defensive secondary.
Well, we have some young freshmen coming in, both within our redshirt class and a couple of young guys that are just getting their feet wet with it. Really, we're all fairly young in the defense, only having it from the spring. So the one thing you're going to continue to see every week is these guys getting more and more comfortable and more young faces getting ready to step in and play. And some of those guys, there's a young man from St. Xavier High School in Louisville, Lamondre Clements, who I think one day is going to be an outstanding player for us. And now as a freshman, he's feeling his way through college,
Sure.
and there's a huge transition there for kids. And,
Sure.
I know that makes it a difference. But
Short turnaround from Lindsey Wilson's Saturday game to a Thursday with the number 4 team in the country, University of Cumberland. Solid program, fundamentally sound. What has practice been like in preparation for Cumberland's?
It's been a lot about focus. With a team like the Cumberlands, they're going to sit there and make you play, assignment football every snap, and if you don't play it, they're going to find the hole in it and they're going to make you pay. And one thing that we've really come back to is reading our keys and focusing on where we need to be, and then being aggressive getting to the football. It's going to take 10 hats at the football to stop these guys, and that's a challenge that we have to accept.
From the defensive side, let's give those that are tuned in a little scouting report on what we'll see out of Cumberland's offensively.
They're very run heavy. They take pride in leading the nation in rushing.
Sure. And
they're good at it. There'll be a little bit of triple option in there, which fortunately we've seen a couple times. They do it a little bit differently. They're going to shrink down their formations and they're going to try to expand. But it's going to be about assignment football. They're physical and they like to run it. So for my guys, it's going to be less about pass breakups and more about tackles. So we'll see how the corners like to come up and get their noses blooded up a little bit.
Absolutely. And knowing some of your guys, I think they'll be eager for that test. Matt Nardo, welcome to Pikeville. Welcome addition to the UPike coaching family. And 3-1. Let's get number 4 this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're going to try.
Coach Matt Nardo, he's the secondary coach at the University of Pikeville. When we come back, we'll step into the Bears den. We'll go to the defensive side. John Dudley Hilton, you may have heard the name before. He's a linebacker with UPike when we return on the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. It's the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk UPike football, and special thanks to secondary coach Matt Nardo, a new addition to the coaching staff. We've taken a look at highlights, and we prepare to put Lindsey Wilson to bed and prepare for the University of Cumberland. Cumberland is ranked number 4 in the nation and the top-ranked team in the Mid-South Conference at the Hambley Complex Thursday night. And now we'll step into the Bears den. Once again, joining us, he's not a newcomer to the Dudley Hilton Show, John Dudley Hilton. John Dudley, welcome in. 5'11", 230-pound junior out of Bell County.
Can't believe I'm already a junior.
It's hard to believe. It is hard to believe, and it's hard for us to believe as well. But John Dudley, as you arrived on the UPike campus with your dad, this team's made some changes and transitions in those 3 years.
Yeah, it's been fun though. I mean, it's been a ride, and I'm excited about getting on with this season. I know we just lost, but I think we're gonna step up, and it's gonna be different than the last 2 teams you saw, and so I'm excited.
We're gonna talk about that. First, let's talk about John Dudley Hilton in the classroom. Let's talk about your major and what your future plans are.
I'm a biology major. I plan to go to med school, hopefully. It's going to be tough, and it's already tough along with football, but I have over a 3.5 GPA right now, and I'm just still going.
We've talked about it before, but I wanted to bring that point to the forefront for those that are tuned in that maybe don't know John Dudley Hilton, but academics a big part of your college experience. Sometimes guys, they're here for football, and they are in the classroom because they must be. But I know that's a big part of why you're here when you arrived at the University of Pikeville, is because of your future plans. We've talked about it. Us old guys will need a doctor someday. And for us to look back and know that we've got a former UPike player that can take care of us, it's a good feeling. How tough is it being a student and being an athlete, particularly this time of year?
Oh, I mean, it's crazy. It's a grind 24/7. You know, you play on Saturdays, you practice on Sundays, you're off Mondays, and you practice the rest of the week, and you got to try to sometimes fit studying in there along with that and tests. But I mean, I enjoy it. I wouldn't want anything other than a challenge, and so it is a challenge to try to get both done. And so, you know, I mean,
not a lot of time to get in trouble.
No time.
How much time? Weight room, practice, games. I know practice, what, 6 a.m.? Spend time in the weight room also. Film session, scouting sessions. How much time do you put to football in a given week?
Oh, it's like a full-time job, 40 hours. I mean, it's crazy. You got 2-hour practices a day, and then an hour weightlifting session, an hour film session, and then maybe you watch some film in the room or in the library too. So 4.5, 5 hours a day, and times it by 7, what is that? Almost 35 hours. And so, I mean, but football is my life, and always has been, and so I enjoy it every second of it.
How much time do you study? And at 3.5 GPA, that doesn't just happen. And as a biology major, it's a tough curriculum. How much time do you give to study?
I try to get at least 2-3 hours in the library a night, maybe more, especially when I have a big test the next day or some kind of assignment due the next day. But I try to stay disciplined and keep myself there so I don't get behind, because it's easy to get behind with everything that I have to do. And so 2-3 hours a day is about typical.
Sure. Now a junior, obviously the classes have changed since you arrived as a freshman. When you have a freshman football player who comes to campus and you see them maybe with the same type of curriculum you have, a tough curriculum, you know they're going to have to put the time in the classroom, and you see that they aren't. Are you one that might approach those younger players and give them some advice of how to stay on top of things and not get behind?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they all know that what I'm doing is as far as a biology major, and so a lot of them come to me, and you know, I just tell them you have to have your priorities straight. You can't be going to a party when you know you got a test the next day. You better stay your tail in the library, and so I mean, just it really is all about priorities, having those right. And some kids, when they come into college, they don't have those right, and so they get caught up and lost. And so I tell them that, you know, you just got to have your priorities right and make sure you're doing what you need to be doing.
John Dudley Hilton, for those that are tuned in and they don't know John Dudley Hilton, of course, all-state player at Bell County, played for your dad, and Bell County, what a tremendous football program. And you arrive at the University of Pikeville. You're the leading tackler this season for this Bears team, 3-1. Last week, ranked in the top 25 in the nation. What did that mean to this UPike team?
Oh, it meant a lot to us, because I mean, even the players that are still here, have been here 3 years, and some of the seniors have been here 4 years. I mean, we know the work we've put in, and so it was good to get a little reward out of that. But you know, it means nothing to us now. We got beat, so we're starting all over, and it's another challenge. It's another mountain we have to climb, and so I mean, we want to get back there, and I think that everybody has that attitude that we do, and so we're going to keep working hard, and we're going to keep putting that same effort forth, and you know, hopefully we reap some rewards.
Talk to Coach Hilton, your dad, about 2 years ago, how this team might have responded to a loss like Lindsey Wilson. Things were going well. You take a loss, next time out, this team might not respond so well. In the second half against Lindsey Wilson, this team responded differently than it might have. Is it because of the maturity, the experience on this team?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I think we realized we got our tails kicked in the first half, and when we were truly embarrassed. And at halftime, there was no screaming and hollering going on. We sat down and we made some changes, we made corrections, and we came out second half a little fired up. We wanted to redeem ourselves. We wanted to show how we could really play, and you saw we could really play. I mean, for a quarter and a half, we played like a team's never played here before. And so, but we talked about it after the game. We have to continue that play. It can't be for a quarter and a half. It's got to be for 4 quarters.
You've seen Cumberland's before. Last year, very talented team. They got a big win on the Bears in Williamsburg. You know what they're going to bring. You've seen it from the linebacker spot. it's going to be important to respond defensively. They're going to try to run it down your guys' throats. How prepared is this team on a short week coming off a Saturday game at Lindsay?
I mean, we're beat up and bruised a little bit, and I think everybody is, but I don't think anybody's feeling sorry for themselves, and because we all know we have a big challenge in front of us. But I think we're prepared. We've had 2 good days of practice. Coach Williams has a good game plan in for us, and so I just hope we can get out there and shed cut blocks and make tackles.
That's the football side of it. Let's talk about the mental side of it. You talk about a team coming off a short week, beat up, banged up. That goes away once the game starts. But is this team mentally prepared to bounce back against the number 4 team in the country? That would certainly heal a lot of wounds.
I truly hope so. I really do. I think we've had good attentiveness in practice, and everybody's been paying attention, and hopefully, I mean, I feel like everybody's got a good attitude. I told Dad after the game, I said, the difference between getting beat by Lindsey Wilson the last 2 years, I don't know if I even felt like I was a better team than them, but I said, this year I feel like we were a different team. I mean, we were a better team than them. We just not that day.
Sure.
And so I think that everybody kind of feels that way, and we know what we can do, and so I think we really want to prove it, and that helps our mentality. That gets us going and ready for another day.
Need a big crowd at Hambly Thursday night. Students will be on campus. A lot of your friends should be able to be there. We expect a lot of orange and black. How important is that to the team to have a good crowd there from campus?
Oh, it's huge. There's nothing like coming out and playing in front of a stadium jam-packed and loud and wild. And we've been talking it up on campus. We've been telling everybody, basketball team, baseball teams, everybody, please come out and support us. And I think they will. I think they like watching us play, and they like the excitement too. So hopefully it's a 7 o'clock kickoff that's absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. John Dudley Hilton, 5'11", 230-pound junior linebacker out of Bell County, our guest on the Dudley Hilton Show. Best of luck Thursday night and the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Always our pleasure. John Dudley Hilton, leading tackler of this Bear team. When we come back, we'll go to the offensive side. Shantez Johnson. Dudley Hilton's called him simply Mr. Consistency. The Dudley Hilton Show returns after this. It's brought to you by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and we remain in the Bears' den and now joined by a member of the offensive unit for the U-Pike Bears, a returning guest on the Dudley Hilton Show. Shantez Johnson, 6'4", 190-pound junior out of Cincinnati Taft High School. Welcome back to the Dudley Hilton Show.
Glad to be here.
And Shantez, when you come back to the Dudley Hilton Show, things are going well. Players that are dropping passes aren't invited back. You had a big highlight game this past week against Lindsey Wilson. I think we saw 7 different highlights from the game against Lindsey Wilson. On the year, over 20 catches. You're over 300 yards receiving. And let's talk about your quarterback, A.J. Graham. A little different than what you saw last year. How has that adjustment been for you as a receiver with the different quarterback in the system?
Well, AJ, he has a strong arm, and he's mobile. He get to move out the pocket and extend plays, and he can throw the ball where it needs to be. So,
how different is that for a receiver, knowing that maybe your initial route has to be adjusted because you realize that A.J. may have been flushed out. He may be scrambling. We saw it in the highlights a couple times. You're coming back to the ball. You're coming back to help. At what point does a receiver realize that you have a quarterback like that your route may be adjusted?
Well, it lets you know that you need to get in shape because you're going to be running around a lot if you escape the pocket. So, just when he throws the ball, just make plays, That's basically what it is.
Shantez Johnson out of Cincinnati Taft High School. We learned that the last time you were on the show, and you were a relative latecomer to the game of football. Let's talk about your football background and when you got started playing.
I started playing my sophomore year in high school. I just fell in love with it. You know, it was a late bloomer, but you know, I had a pretty decent high school career. When I came here, you know, I just kept trying to build on my game, and I think I'm doing pretty well.
Absolutely. John Dudley Hilton, multi-sport athlete in high school. What other sports did Shantez Johnson play?
I played baseball, first base, well, pretty much all infield, and basketball. I was a power forward and small forward.
I've actually seen some highlight tape of Shantez Johnson on a high school basketball court. Might have had a career there had you chosen to go that route. Shantez Johnson, let's talk about the student athlete, a junior now. What's your academic major and what do you plan to do?
I'm a computer science major. When I graduate college, if I can, you know, get the opportunity to play in the NFL, I'd like to do that. But if not, computer programming, something I'd be interested in.
John Dudley Hilton wants to go to med school. He'll fix the body. When my computer crashes, I can call you. That's why I'm getting to know you guys. That's the only reason I asked the question of what your future plans are. Who can take care of my computer? I've got to find a banker. If you know anyone that's majoring in finance, I'll need to talk with them,
okay,
all right?
Sure.
They're next week's guest.
Yeah.
Shantez Johnson, what's different about this team this year than last year? Being around the team, not in practice, not in the huddle, not in the locker room, but as an outsider, this team seems to have a different swagger.
I think we're more together this year. You know, when we don't fold under pressure and when things go bad, I think we find a way to make things, you know, work out. You know, like in the Lindsey Wilson game, you know, we've been down before, you know, like most of the guys who play here like 3 years or 4 years, we've been down before in the past. And I think that second half we just came out and we played, you know, just gave it out, left it all on the field. I mean, the outcome, you know, we lost, but, you know, we gave it all we got.
Team ranked in the top 25 in the country last week, receiving votes this week just outside the top 25. A win over Cumberland certainly would propel you back into the top 25. How important is that to this team as individual players?
I think we all know that it's very important. You know, we've been focused in practice all week, and everybody knows, you know, we want to win this season. So, you know, we have to win now because our season's getting really tough. Like, the schedule's getting tough at this point in time.
Cumberland's put it on the Bears last year. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, you know, they beat us pretty bad. You know, they run the ball very well, and they just a solid team.
Different story with this year's team?
I hope it is. Yeah, pretty much. I hope it is.
How tough is it? Talk to John Dudley Hilton about it on the defensive side, Coach Hilton as well, and Coach Matt Nardo. Playing a Saturday game and bouncing back to play again on a Thursday. How tough is that for a player?
Well, mostly after games, you know, you get bumps and bruises. You know, playing on Saturday and then coming and play on a Thursday, it gives you less time to recover from them bruises. So, you know, and then like, you know, scouting reports and stuff like that. It's just, you know, you just got to keep grinding. You know, you got to play through those bumps and you know, stay focused and go out and perform on that Thursday.
Shantez Johnson, we've asked you the question before. What are some personal goals of yours for this season?
Personal goals. I want to make All-American team. I mean, All-Conference team. You know, I just want to make plays for the team and just win. You know, win that conference ring. You know, for the team and the coaches.
3-1. A win over Cumberland's this Thursday night would certainly help the Bears, put you at 2-1, and you would be making a big leap into the top 25. I think it can be done. Cumberland's Thursday night at the Hamley Complex. Shantez Johnson, invite your friends to be at the game Thursday night. You've got a personal plea now to some of your fellow students to be at the game.
Oh, you want me to vote?
Absolutely.
Well, if everybody can, you know, just come out and support us. You know, we can use the support. You know, go Bears.
Go Bears indeed. Wear the orange and black Thursday night at the Hamley Complex. You'll see Shantez Johnson at a wide receiver. Wears number 19, 6'4" junior out of Cincinnati. Shantez Johnson, good luck Thursday night and the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Always our pleasure. And Dudley Hilton called him Mr. Consistent because that's what he is. I don't think I've seen Shantez drop a pass in my time broadcasting the Bears. He's Mr. Consistent out there. One of the reasons that he's the Bears quarterback's favorite receiver. We'll return with more from the Dudley Hilton Show. We'll take a preview of the Cumberland's matchup this Thursday night at the Hamley Complex. Dudley Hilton when we come back. The Dudley Hilton Show presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. The Dudley Hilton Show presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host. We talk U-Pike football, and great show tonight. Coming off a loss to Lindsey Wilson College, you think, well, this show may just be a little bit of a downer, but I didn't get that vibe. Some great highlights offensively, defensively. There were some good things in the Lindsey loss. Matt Nardo, positive from the coaching staff. The players seemed positive and hungry for Cumberland's this Thursday.
I have some reason that I'm the only one that gets down a little bit, but that's part of being a head coach. I just worry about a lot of things, and but I'm glad the coaches are positive, and that's the way they should be. The players should be positive, and that's the way they should be. Shantez and John Dudley both did a great job, and they're upbeat. They're both juniors, and they've been here through some bad times and a few good times. But again, hopefully this will turn out to be a good time for them their junior year, and we got 7 more games to go.
Sure.
And I'm down a little bit because I feel like John Dudley said, we're a better football team, and
right.
We found a way that we didn't win a football game. So hopefully we can bounce back. We're up against a big mountain this week. There's no question about it. University of Cumberland's got a real football team, got a very tradition football program, and been very competitive the last few years. So we had a 4-day turnaround. They had about 12. So we're up there, but I tell you, our kids lick their wounds, and they'll be ready to play, I guarantee you.
Thursday night, Cumberland's ranked number 4 in the country. 7 o'clock kickoff at the Hamley Complex. We'll be on the air at 6:45 on Z1075 online, of course, at PikeTV.com, live streaming as well. If you're tuned in, you'll be able to catch the live video stream at PikeTV.com. Coach Dudley Hilton, Cumberland, tough test. Let's go get a win Thursday.
Thank you, Andrew. And we'll need all the support, and hope everybody get out and support us. And we'll show up and play. It'll be a hard-fought game.
We want a big crowd there as the Bears look for number 4 on the year. Thanks to Dudley Hilton, Matt Nardo, the defensive secondary coach, John Dudley Hilton from the defensive side, and Shantez Johnson, our guest on this edition of the Dudley Hilton Show, talking U-Pike football. On behalf of Dudley Hilton and the University of Pikeville football program, I'm Andrew Joyce. It's been presented by Appalachian Wireless.